Roscoe's Reacher Season 3 return looks less likely after new romance confirmation. Jack Reacher will have a new romance in Reacher Season 3, making the highly coveted return of Roscoe much less likely. Continuing the established formula, Reacher Season 3's story will see the titular hero embroiled in a new adventure with a new cast of characters. This time around, events will be adapted from Lee Child's seventh book installment, Persuader. First published in 2003, Persuader is widely considered to be one of the best Jack Reacher books. Continuing his nomadic journey across America, Reacher, Alan Ritchson, won't so much stumble into a new mission as be actively recruited. That recruitment comes from de-agent Sarah Duffy, Sonia Cassidy. This mission sees the former special investigator sent undercover to investigate a drug kingpin and potentially rescue a missing agent. It's a mission that Reacher swiftly accepts for some personal reasons. In the process, continuing a criticized trope, Season 3 sees Reacher and Duffy embark on a romance. Reacher starting a romance with Sarah Duffy in Season 3 makes Roscoe's return less likely. The confirmation of the Reacher and Duffy romance came in the Reacher Season 3 trailer. Partway through, the new footage reveals them locking lips while in a passionate embrace. The reveal will come as no surprise to those who have read the books over the years or have become familiar with the show's format. After all, Reacher, both in the show and all the Jack Reacher books, tends to follow a James Bond-style approach to romance, with a different woman in each adventure and no potential love triangle in sight. It will, however, disappoint those who were hoping for a Roscoe Conklin, Willa Fitzgerald cameo in Season 3 after they sadly parted ways in the Season 1 finale due to Reacher's nomadic lifestyle, as well as Roscoe's desire to repair the damage to her town. Neither wanted to make the other compromise. Despite that, many continue to hope for a reunion, first in Season 2 and now ahead of Reacher Season 3's release. It still may be possible, especially if Roscoe has similarly moved on. But it nonetheless feels unlikely and could ruin the energy that made them so popular. Reacher Season 2 cemented the trend by introducing Carla Dixon, Serena Swan. A major in the Army and a former special investigator, Dixon was arguably a better match for Reacher than Roscoe. This is why they quickly act on the sexual tension that has lingered between them for years. It first struck when they worked together in the 110th, and then reignited upon meeting again in New York. However, their liaison is short-lived, with Dixon choosing to end things, believing it serves as a fitting closure for them both. Nonetheless, it served to prevent Roscoe's return in Season 2. While trying to avenge some fallen comrades, Reacher has the majority of his 110th unit by his side. Regardless, he still feels the need for further backup. That comes in the form of Oscar Finley, Malcolm Goodwin, from Season 1. Roscoe's name ultimately comes up, prompting an awkward exchange with Dixon and illustrating that Reacher knew there might still be romantic tensions with Roscoe and that it might complicate matters with Dixon and cloud the dynamics of a very personal mission, had he called her for help as well. Despite the romantic entanglements that Reacher will continue to find himself a part of, Roscoe should still make a return at some stage. As the very first that audiences experienced, it could be construed as something of a first love. And there is definitely a lot of love between them by Reacher Season 1's ending. So much so that Reacher is even willing to end his nomadic ways to stay with Roscoe. Though she refuses to let him make such a sacrifice, it is a genuine offer and stands as a testament to his feelings. Reacher fans were hopeful that Roscoe Conklin, played by Willa Fitzgerald, would make a triumphant return in Season 3, but recent developments suggest otherwise. While the chemistry between Roscoe and Reacher, played by Alan Ritchson, was palpable in Season 1, the dynamic of the show appears to be evolving in new directions. With a new romance confirmed for Reacher, the odds of Roscoe's return are looking slimmer, much to the disappointment of fans who had hoped for more of the character's strong-willed presence and compelling relationship with the titular hero. A look back at Roscoe and Reacher in Season 1 of Reacher, Roscoe quickly became a fan favorite. As the tough and capable police officer of Margrave, Georgia, she was integral to helping Reacher solve the mystery of his brother's death. Roscoe's no-nonsense attitude and strong moral compass complemented Reacher's rogue tendencies. The two shared a deep connection throughout the season, which evolved into a romantic relationship, culminating in several tender moments. However, by the end of the season, Reacher left town, and the romance was put on an indefinite pause as he continued his wandering, justice-seeking lifestyle. Roscoe's departure wasn't portrayed as a breakup, but rather a natural conclusion given Reacher's inability to stay in one place for too long. The door was left open for her to potentially return in future seasons, a possibility that fans clung to, especially considering the significant emotional impact Roscoe had on Reacher. Her absence in Season 2, however, began to raise questions about the future of the character and whether she would be brought back into the fold. A new romance for Reacher fast-forward to the lead-up to Season 3, and reports confirm that Reacher will be involved in a new romantic storyline, one that appears to cement the notion that his previous relationship with Roscoe was more of a fleeting chapter in his life. The introduction of a new love interest might be a natural progression for Reacher's character, who is known for living a nomadic and often solitary life in the books by lead child. This latest romance could reflect a different phase of Reacher's journey, focusing on his unending search for justice while navigating the complexities of human connections. This new romantic angle, while exciting for the show's development, seems to push Roscoe even further out of the narrative spotlight. Given that Reacher adapts different books from the series in each season, the showrunners may feel that revisiting Roscoe and her storyline would risk repeating themes and undermining the new characters being introduced. Instead, they seem intent on keeping the show fresh by exploring new dynamics and leaving past relationships as part of Reacher's ever-growing legacy of encounters. Why Roscoe's absence would be a loss, Roscoe's potential absence in Season 3 will undoubtedly leave a gap in the emotional landscape of the show. Her character wasn't just a love interest for Reacher, she was a powerful figure in her own right. She embodied the small-town charm and fierce determination to uphold justice, qualities that resonated deeply with Reacher. Roscoe stood out because she was capable of holding her own alongside Reacher in situations where others faltered. Her no-nonsense attitude, loyalty, and strength created a compelling balance to Reacher's often cold and calculating demeanor. While Reacher's story is filled with numerous women who enter and exit his life, Roscoe felt different. Her departure feels more significant because of the meaningful connection the two shared, which transcended the brief romantic dalliance many fans initially expected. Moreover, Roscoe's character brought a sense of stability and empathy to Reacher's otherwise turbulent life. Her absence from the series could leave the show with a missing emotional depth that future characters may struggle to replicate. Will we ever see Roscoe again? The world of Reacher is vast, with endless possibilities for where the show could go. While Roscoe's return in Season 3 looks unlikely given the confirmation of a new romance, there is still hope for fans that her character could appear in future seasons. After all, Reacher follows a serialized format, with each season adapting a different book from the Jack Reacher series. Just because Roscoe doesn't fit into the upcoming narrative doesn't mean she won't have a place in future stories. The source material contains over 24 novels, and it's not uncommon for characters to return in later installments, albeit under different circumstances. There could be opportunities for Reacher and Roscoe to cross paths again in the future, rekindling the dynamic that fans loved in Season 1. Whether it's as a friend, ally, or even rekindled romance, Roscoe's return would be a welcome one for those who